Summer weather may not have reached central Poland just yet, but the drama and heat of international athletics most certainly has, as national team competition continues here in the south of the country. Welcome to day 2 of the World Relays. We're in Katowice, the capital of the Silesia region, about 250 kilometers to the southwest of the Polish capital Warsaw. It's an industrial city, the 11th largest in Poland, with a population of around 300,000. A population that enjoys high employment levels, a great variety of culture, and is a city that generally punches above its weight, as we say, with some 80,000 students attending its several major universities. The Silesia Stadium is our venue. And what a venue it is, the National Stadium, in fact, that holds around 55,000 at full capacity. And the great action coming at us over the next almost 2 hours will be alongside myself, Tim Hutchings, and Jenny Meadows with you now. And how much action is there to come? Well, the athletes have been arriving over the last couple of hours. The wind in their hair is a clue, Jenny, to the conditions that many of them will be familiar with as we come out of what has been a difficult winter.
Yeah, but they're here, aren't they? And we saw some fantastic action in day 1. That's the British team, lots of them there, part of that squad for the mixed 4x400 metres. Japanese athletes, everyone with smiles on their faces, which is the important thing. But you might be able to see there the Brazilians with their hats on. We can just see it's 7 degrees and it's quite cloudy, and a little bit more wind in the stadium as well this evening, Tim.
It is a little bit windy, yes, 7 degrees centigrade on a cloudy evening. It's been cloudy all day, threatening to rain, that 12-kilometre wind coming from the west, and I think it might well get chillier this evening. Many athletes, of course, travel in the warmth in the winter months these days, but the majority don't, so they'll be familiar with these sorts of conditions. Well, let's have a look at that action that I mentioned earlier at 7:20 local time, that is. The mixed 4x400 metres relay, then the sprint relays for men and women, the 4x100s, followed by the women's and men's 4x200 metres. Those are not too often run on the international scene, but the final 2 events are the normal climactic events of major global championships. The women's and men's 4x400 metres will bring proceedings to a close. Well, those teams arriving at the stadium include the Irish squad, who, Jenny, have had a fabulous first day.
Oh, the Irish have said it's like winning the World Cup back at home. They ran fantastic to qualify for this mixed 4x4 today, and we're really looking forward to hoping that they have a little bit more look of the Irish.
You have to hope they brought their thermal tights, although of all nations, perhaps the Irish will be amongst the best prepared for these sorts of temperatures. It's been threatening to rain all day, but it never has actually arrived. But there is a cool breeze here. It's 7 degrees centigrade officially, but actually feels more like about 4 or 5 with the wind brought in as well. The Brazilians might be finding these temperatures challenging. Hope they brought their thermal underwear. Well, 8 teams in the first of our 7 finals in this second and final day. And Belgium amongst them. And what a squad that is. The 4x400 metres mixed relay. Very strong squad. Certainly amongst the favourites. Spain as well. Well, their 12 times national champion, Boquesa, Spanish indoor champion, will be on their 3rd leg. Same team as ran yesterday. Booked their Tokyo slot yesterday too. The Dominican Republic. booked their Tokyo spot yesterday too by making it through to this final. That's what they're most pleased about. So many of these athletes in the different teams just delighted at the end of day one with main job done. The icing on the cake would be great runs today. The Italians, fourth 2 years ago in Yokohama, the same team as yesterday. They were the fastest in qualifying. Watch them. The Brazilians, again, the same quartet as yesterday. Second fastest in qualifying behind the Italians. Alisson dos Santos ran 45.02 on the anchor leg yesterday, easing up, and he's their final leg runner again today. The Dutch, well, they're always dangerous in relays. They booked their Tokyo ticket yesterday. 3 changes to their squad, however. Great Britain, well, Yusuf ran the anchor leg yesterday, the first leg rather, and he's running the anchor leg today, so a slight change in that British squad. And the Irish, well, they booked their Tokyo place yesterday. It's all over the Irish news. They are celebrating big time. And Thomas Barr has gone home. A strategic move on the Irish squad not to include him in this quartet, or in any quartet today, the 4x400 as well for men. Jenny, a lot to go for, difficult conditions, but it's the same for everybody, as they say.
It is, and this is one of the most exciting events of the whole weekend, I think. All the teams are so closely matched. We were watching the heats yesterday, and every subsequent heat got quicker than the last. Italy, Brazil, the Dominican Republic, you would think it would be those 3 teams, but Ireland did incredibly well, posting the 4th fastest time. Great Britain and Northern Ireland, the Belgians are strong. You can't write anybody off on this one.
Well, 2 years ago, the USA and Canada were first and second. Neither of those countries represented here in Katowice. Kenya were third, and they are not in this final, so we're guaranteed a first 3 with a real freshness to it. There is the full lineup. Ireland, Great Britain in 2, Netherlands in 4, Brazil in 5, Italy 6, Dominican Republic, Spain and Belgium. Fascinating addition to the International Global Championship timetable. It was an event that was at the World Championships in 2019 in Doha and will be in Tokyo later on this summer. All to play for. The fastest time in the world this year was by Italy yesterday, 3:16.52. And that Dutch squad, well, 3 changes to it, so some fresher legs out there than perhaps for some of the other teams. I wonder if that'll be a factor, Jenny.
I think a lot of teams were just really, pleased to book their place in, obviously, Tokyo later in the summer. But some of these teams are really going for it. Like we say, I think it'll come down to that last leg, of course. And I'm really looking forward to the Italians and the Brazilians really fighting it out. I think David Ray from Italy will have to have a big lead to try and hold off Alisson dos Santos. He actually posted 45.02, coasting yesterday in the heat. So I think we can see some 44-second splits from that last leg, certainly.
Lee Thompson goes on the first leg today for Great Britain, a squad that will be a little bit frustrated as a body after the men dropped their baton, and although they picked it up and ran on, couldn't get close to a qualifying spot in the 4x400 for them. Belgium on the outside, Dylan Borlée on the first leg for them, the younger of the 3 Borlée brothers. Garcia. Dominican Republic with feelers on the first leg. Italy with Scotti, European Junior champion, 46.07 yesterday. Then Brazil with Freitas Enriquez on the opening. Vardenberg leads out the Dutch squad. We'll hand over to Salberg, De Witte and Agard. Lee Thompson goes on this opening leg. So important to give your team a good start. And Andrew Mullen, introduced to this team for the Irish, has a huge responsibility as the man to come out of the blocks. Just looking at that Spanish squad, Jenny, and I think there has been a change to the order. Julio Arenas was due to have been their lead-off athlete, but it is Garcia. So, Ireland in 2, Great Britain 3, Netherlands 4, Brazil 5, Italy 6, Dominican Republic 7, Spain 8, Belgium on the outside in lane 9. Well, the stagger won't unwind until after the third bend, so when the second athlete has negotiated their first bend. But going really well at the moment already are Brazil. Really have moved up on the Italian opening leg runner Scotti. Brazil, their centre of picture, possibly leading at the moment. Strong running from Nout Vardenberg of the Netherlands in the orange there in lane 4. And great running too from Spain's Garcia down the home straight. He maybe leads, although Brazil have had a fabulous first leg here from Freitas and Rodriguez. Second fastest in qualifying, remember, behind the Italians. The Italian has finished strongly here. Scotti has come to really strongly to hand over, perhaps in the lead.
Yeah, this is what we were expecting, wasn't it? In those lanes, in lanes 6 and 7, we've got the Italians and we've got the Brazilians, and they're neck and neck as we just approach the break line. Just watching the Great Britain and Northern Ireland squad, and Zoe Clark has absolutely took this race by the scruff of the neck and started off really fast this first half lap. She reaches 200 metres in the lead from Brazil, from Italy. Bolingo there for Belgium in 4th position.
Yes, Marinho of Brazil on the shoulder of Clark here, really applying the pressure. Clark went out so hard, she's got to hang on here, at least stay within reach of Brazil if they do begin to go past. But that's great running from Silva Marinho. And the Italian here, look at the running here from Trevisan, Giancarlo Trevisan of Italy. Fabulous last 60 or 70 to open up a 3 or 4 metre gap. Brazil in second, Great Britain third, Belgium fourth at the moment. These four away. Spain and the Dominican Republic bringing up the second quartet, but the Italians building a lead here. Now, Alice Mangione on this third leg. It's really important she runs with a perfect judgment here. As for Great Britain on this third leg, Yasmin Liverpool, who's been introduced to the team, running on fresh legs, glances up at the big screen, trying to close marginally on the Italian Mangione. Paulino moving past there for the Dominican Republic. She's had a good leg. But the Italians running out of their skin. They booked their Tokyo spots yesterday. Maybe that's got the extra adrenaline going as Liverpool here tries to hold off the Belgian third leg runner, Camila Laus. Italy, though, with a comfortable lead. Look at that. Surely they can't be caught.
Well, we say surely, but there's a lot of determined men on this last leg. But this is what we saw in the heats, wasn't it? Italy did have such a substantial margin. David Ray, of course, a really accomplished one-lap runner, but we can see the action behind. We can see Rabbi Youssef there. We can see Kevin Borley and Alison De Santos there, striking from 5th position into 4th and on the shoulder of the British athletes.
Well, Alexandra Ogando of the Dominican Republic in second place has closed down dramatically on Davide Ray of Italy over this first 300 metres into the straight. Now Ray kicks again. I think he's run a smart leg. He was striding along for the first 300, saved it for the straight and has done it perfectly. Dominican Republic second, Brazil third. Great running by Borley for 4th place there for Belgium. Couldn't quite get amongst the first 3. Great Britain in 5th there. Rabbi Youssef surely running on slightly tired legs as well after his opening leg yesterday. But Italy, perfectly judged from them, fastest in qualifying and very much the fastest come the final today. Brilliant stuff from them.
Yeah, they were great from the very beginning, weren't they? First leg runner, Scotti, got them off to a great start. I thought both the women in the middle ran fantastic legs and they really gave David Ray a fighting chance. But as you said, Tim, a really, really smart way to handle the pressure of leading into that 4x400 metre last leg. He kept something in reserve. The 400 metre event is tough. When you get lactic acid down that home straight, there's nothing you can do about it if you put too much energy in too soon. But Ray, an established athlete, well experienced, and he brought them home strong, didn't he?
Yeah, it was a really intelligent leg. He ran strongly the first 300, but kept enough at bay. The Brazilians delighted with their second place. 3:16.60 for Italy, 3:17.54 for Brazil. So the winning margin was almost a second, but that doesn't matter. Dos Santos ran 45.02, easing up yesterday, and he will have run quickly here today as well to go past a couple of teams and get into second place. And Dominican Republic, third place, just 4/100ths of a second down on Brazil. Belgium fifth, fourth, Great Britain fifth. Great Britain marginally slower than they were yesterday. But do you know what? The conditions are not conducive to quick running, and you'd expect most teams to run a little bit slower today, wouldn't you?
Yeah, we said that, didn't we? You know, hopefully we'll not go on about it too much. We don't want to reiterate ourselves, but it's very cold today. And, you know, when you're a sprinter, you want to have some warmth in those muscles. This is a great shot. The physicality of that changeover. A lot of teams will really have to practice. Busy traffic there. But here we go. This was the fourth leg run here. This is David Ray just setting out on that one lap. Here he is now with 100 metres to go, and we can see arms pumping, focused all the way down that home straight. He's actually gapping away there from the athlete from the Dominican Republic, and yeah, fireworks at the end, and they brought the fireworks to the race, didn't they?
And that shot of Brazil just out dipping Dominican Republic is one that coaches around the world, I should imagine, will be using to show to their students, to their athletes, dip at the line, run through the line, do not ease off. I think Dominican Republic lost that one as their final leg runner, Ogando, eased back. And Dos Santos, all credit to him, charged through the tape, dipped perfectly, and took second place from third, stole it from Dominican Republic by, I reckon, about a centimetre. 4/100ths of a second, that was all there was between Brazil and Dominican Republic in second and third. Well, Italy, fourth 2 years ago. The three teams ahead of them in Yokohama weren't here today, and they fittingly have moved up the 4 places to be the winners. And you can see what it means to Alisson dos Santos.
Well, he looked a little bit nervous yesterday. Do you remember we had that great action shot of him really being focused before the heats? Absolutely great athlete, made the World Championship 400-metre hurdles final 2 years ago when he was still a teenager. Personal best of 48.15 seconds over the 400-metre hurdles. So we expected him to be strong, and he definitely was. That last 250 metres, he was closing down on the others. Great shots there of the Irish team. That's Andrew Mellon. He was brought in today. Of course, they've secured the spot for Tokyo.
Sorry, Jen, go on.
No, I was just going to say, that's the physicality of the 400 metres. It leaves you feeling like that. And Charlene Maudsley was just on all fours almost. She ran a great race yesterday, and so did Phil Healy. Both of them posting 51.7 seconds on those 2 legs. I'm sure this squad will build and build all the way now to Tokyo.
Great Britain 5th behind Belgium's 4th. Netherlands were 6th, equal with Spain. And when I say 6th equal, that's because down to 1,000th of a second, the 2 teams ran the same time. 3:19.65, and then you get in brackets the thousandths, 0.644 of a second. Ireland in 7th place, effectively 8th, in fact, of course. So the next event on the track, the 4x100 metres relay for men. And these are the squads getting ready, stripped down, nice and warm in the core room. They won't want to hang about once they get outside, though, because this is not ideal sprinting weather. A degree of irony, many of these athletes wouldn't have been away warm weather training in the Canaries. The South Africans don't need to go too far to get warm weather, of course, from home, although the near 30-hour journey to get here to Silesia will have taken its toll on some of them. The Japanese, and of course they are determined to put out a good showing, hosting the Olympics in a day or two over 12 weeks' time. Denmark have the inside lane, the same team for them and the same order as in the heats yesterday. So the 8 teams about to come out through the tunnel road being introduced to the stadium. And Germany will be in at lane 9. Tights all round for those fellas. The same team in the same order as in the heat. The 4th fastest in qualifying, the German quartet. Ghana coming out again, the same squad. 6th fastest in qualifying. The Netherlands will be in lane 7. The same squad, but a slightly changed order. Their 3rd and 4th leg runners have swapped round from yesterday. 5th fastest in qualifying, the Netherlands, and unless I'm mistaken, quite a few athletes will be running in tights here, Jenny. Don't often see that in a 4x100.
No, you don't, but like we have said, you know, it is quite cool, and I guess with, you know, Olympic qualification already taken care of, a lot of these athletes just want to make sure they get through this weekend in one piece. They'll be going home to sharpen up, so yeah, better being safe than sorry.
We saw Brazil, they're in lane 6, the Italians go in lane 5. They were the fastest in the heat with 38.45, and they've got the same squad running in the same order. The South Africans, third fastest in the heats. They could be a real danger. They're in lane 4. It's a nice draw for the South Africans. The Japanese, well, they were a non-automatic qualifier. Didn't get through as one of the fastest 2 in their heat, but they are in this final. Everything to run for, therefore. And Denmark complete the lineup. They will be in lane 2. They were 8th fastest in qualifying, although they set a national record of 39.06. I wonder if they can go sub 39 here this evening. It would be special in these conditions, it has to be said, but they've already had a fabulous weekend of racing. Lane 1, of course, is empty. Brazil, well, they were the winners in 2019, defeating the USA, which was quite a surprise. Great Britain didn't enter a team into this one. They were 3rd back in 2019. Well, it's taken a little while to come through, but let's check the result from that mixed 4x400 metres relay. It was indeed Italy who ran to victory with a brilliantly judged effort from Davide Ray on the final leg. Brazil, great running too from them on the final leg to take 2nd place. Dominican Republic 3rd by the tiniest of margins. Belgium and Great Britain in 4th and 5th. And look at Spain and Ireland, 3:19.65 to the Netherlands back in 8th place. Is that an adjusted result from what came up a few minutes ago?
Well, these are always nervous moments for all the relay runners in the 4x1. They're just taking their time. Of course, quite a lot of the time, a lot of these athletes will be racing against each other, especially in their own national championships. But they come together to form a quartet for this.
Well, the Brazilians are building quite a reputation as fabulous carriers of the baton. Yesterday in the heats, there was 1/1000th of a second between Italy and Brazil. Italy the fastest by almost literally a vest's thickness. The South Africans in lane 4, who were 3rd quickest, and again only a few hundreds of a second slower than Italy and Brazil, will be wanting to turn that around here. Of course, Southern Hemisphere athletes had something of an advantage, having their main summer season behind them. On the other hand, it is difficult for them to join together 2 summers effectively after a January, February, March of racing, and then going straight into a May, June, July, August of racing. So Germany on the outside, Julian Reus on the outside, will hand over to Hartmann, Almas and Schulte. Ghana with Safo Antwi leading them out. Van Gool of the Netherlands goes in lane 7, goes as their lead-up man. Brazil, the winners from 2019, go in 6th. The Italians in 5 will be fired up surely from that win in the mixed relay a few minutes ago. The South Africans go in 4. Can they turn the tables here on Italy and Brazil? Japan in 3 with Sakai on the opening leg for them. And Denmark, Simon Hansen on the opening leg from them, will hand over to the experienced Kamanga Dierpak on leg 2, Musa on leg 3, and Shao Nielsen on leg 4. Already a national record for their weekend's work, the Danish quartet. Same team, same order as ran so well yesterday for them in lane 2. We had long holds yesterday. They will be expecting that again today. Denmark in 2, Japan 3, South Africa 4, Italy 5, Brazil 6, Netherlands 7, Ghana 8, Germany nearest the camera in lane 9. Well, away cleanly. I don't think we've had a full start all weekend yet. Oh, and the German has eased up on the outside, I'm afraid, Reus, and that's his squad done and out. hamstring, it looked like for Rayos. There's certainly a cramp of some kind, hopefully not serious, as they battle on down the back straight, going really well at the Italians, maybe slightly up on the Brazilians there in the green. The Italians moving up on the Brazilians, although good change from the Brazilians. Brazil leading at the moment from Italy and South Africa. South Africa still in this one. It's going to be really tight. Brazil, though, have a metre on South Africa. Italy messed up that final changeover. They're way back now. It's Brazil under pressure from South Africa, but they're going to run out of track. It's about 6 inches, maybe 10 centimetres, something like that, at the finish line. And Brazil retain their winner's status. Fabulous from them. Huge disappointment for the Germans, and we'll have to have a look at what happened to the Italians. I didn't spot it there in the close confines of that final changeover, with all 8 teams, or 7 teams as it turned out to be, so close together. But I think the South Africans just falling short, Jenny, by the tiniest of margins.
Yeah, Simbine ran quick, didn't he, on that last straight. So much action in 38 seconds. It's hard to replay it in your head. But, yeah, I think South Africa did just not quite get that win. They're looking up at the screen. Oh, in fact, I'm corrected. I think they took it by 100th of a second. Yes, they seem to have seen the results.
Wow. Well done to the South Africans. Talk about running through the tape, make every centimetre count. And they did just that. He was closing very, very quickly indeed, the South African anchorman Simbine. And we know he's special. Sub-10-second sprinter. And coming at the end of his season, the rain just beginning to come down for the first time today. There was a little bit overnight, but ironically, as that 4x100 finishes, 38.71 for South Africa. It's a little bit slower than they ran in the heats, but that's to be expected. 38.49 in the heats. These conditions are worth a few meters, there's no doubt about that. But I could have sworn the Brazilians took that one. I'd love to see the photo finish. It must have been the tiniest of margins.
Well, again, I think it's one of those lessons, run all the way through the line, and I didn't think Simbine was going to get there. I thought the gap was too large. So much advancements in technology these days that we can actually work out what time all of these individual athletes did every single 100 metres. But here we go again from the start, just in lane 9 on the outside here. The German guy, you could just see he gets a cramp. So disappointed for the outgoing runner on second leg. Oh, they just have a little bit of an embrace there. This is the end of the second leg. Jacobs there from Italy. Fantastic run down the back straight. The change wasn't necessarily clean. And here we go. This is the third exchange now. And Simbine, it took him a while to get going. That baton wasn't quite steady in his hand. But here he goes, that last 50 metres. High knee lift all the way, driving all the way to the line. Of course, it's the chest that breaks the line first. And he was deemed to do that by 100th of a second over the Brazilians. 38.71 to 38.72. And the Brazilian last leg athlete there, Camilo de Oliveira, he gave everything, but maybe dipped a couple of strides early. And he was overstriding his last 3 or 4 strides, whereas the South African Simbine got it absolutely spot on. Ghana taking third place from near the outside, with the Germans having dropped out in that first leg. Ghana were effectively on the outside, and Joseph Paul Amoa, what a run it was from him to take third place, 39.11. Again, just marginally slower than they ran yesterday in the heats. Again, it's all down to the conditions, but that doesn't matter because the conditions are the same for everybody. Italy finishing in 4th place. They were the fastest in the heat. They will be frustrated with that 39.21, but it does emphasize, Jenny, how absolutely critical and what a huge difference it can make whether or not you get your changeovers right or wrong. It does, and a lot of these teams will take a long time, you know, meeting throughout the season on squad weekends to make sure they hone those baton skills. All the analysts will be there for the member federations as well, making sure they look at this. This is a vital weekend for these teams in preparation to Tokyo.
Well, the Netherlands failing to finish as well in that one amidst all the action. Japan 5th, Denmark 6th. Let's have a look at that Dutch changeover. There they are, second to left. The Netherlands out in lane 7. And the leader, the man going out, went off way too soon. and was gone and way out of the zone before his colleague was anywhere near him. What a shame for the Dutch Paulina Tegaria.
Well, that was the change, wasn't it? They did change the third and fourth leg runners and the order. So maybe, again, it was just an opportunity.
So to the next event, the women's 4x100 meters. It's their turn now. Japan will be in lane 9, the same team and same order. They were 7th best in qualifying, this quartet: Aoyama, Kedama, Saito and Tsuruta. Switzerland go in lane 8. They've gone for the tights look. 4th fastest in qualifying, same team for them as well as in qualifying. Let's try polish those changeover skills is their philosophy. The French, the same team, 2nd fastest in qualifying. Richard Mingat on the final leg for the French, plenty of experience there. Italy will be in lane 6. 3 out of the 4 are the same. They were the 6th fastest in qualifying. Just Fontana brought in, replacing Herrera Abreu on the final leg. Poland in lane 5, the host, 3 out of the 4, the same as yesterday. 3rd fastest in qualifying. Their hopes will be high. Their lead-off athlete, Stefanovic, is the addition to the squad. And the Dutch squad, Jamile Samuel, Daphne Skippers on the 2nd leg, Nadine Visser, Naomi Sedney. They were the fastest in qualifying, and they have to be starting here as favourites in lane 4. Denmark go in lane 3. There's not a practice pose at all. Non-automatic qualifiers, the Danes, but they're here in this final. 3 out of the 4 are the same, just their final leg runner changed. Bomber is in instead of Karstov. And Ecuador go in lane 2. Qualified as a non-automatic qualifying squad. 5th best in qualifying, though, despite that, with a national record in their heat of 43.86. Can they improve on that today? That would be very special indeed. So we've seen the dangers associated with running in cool conditions for sprinters. A lot of athletes over the years have poo-pooed and maybe even made derogatory remarks about the sprinters and their delicacy. But, you know, these are Formula One racing cars of the very highest order with enormous speed. And, Jenny, in cool conditions, that is the worst possible thing for a sprinter, really.
It is, but as you said, Tim, you know, everyone's in the same conditions, and I think it's really good to see the likes of Daphne Skippers there, just making sure she keeps her tights on. You know, they practice in tights. I've run very fast in tights, so it makes no difference, really. Visser as well, she's the hurdle specialist. If people listening here weren't tuning in yesterday, you can see that they're just doing their marking their run-up. So basically what they do is they gauge the speed of the incoming runner. They put a mark down, and that's a visual cue, and they see their athlete come to the visual cue, and then that's the last time they'll actually look at that runner. They'll know how much kind of pace to judge themselves, how many strides it should take in theory to come into them, and yeah, non-visual changes in this one.
I suppose the vulnerability of that approach, Jenny, using that strip of tape on the track as the marker, and when the incoming runner reaches that, you shoot off, is that you assume the incoming runner will have maintained a really good speed, and if he or she has for some reason slowed or is tiring significantly, then you may have gone off too early, and it's not really anybody's fault, nothing you can do about it. So the system is not perfect. You know, these athletes are not machines.
No, they're not, and I guess it's similar to when you see, you know, the long jumpers and triple jumpers, and they have a, you know, run up, and, you know, depending on the runway or the wind, etc., it doesn't always go that way on the day. But yeah, this should be a great competition to watch. I'm really looking forward to watching the Netherlands squad. They've obviously got Samuel, Skippers and Visser, the same order as yesterday, but they've brought in Naomi Sedney. She anchored the Dutch squad to the European gold in Amsterdam back in 2016, so very experienced. I think they're looking to post a good time here this weekend.
Well, the Italian ladies will be all the more determined and aware of their vulnerability, because their men didn't have a great time of it. They went into their final a few minutes ago as favourites and came out in 4th place with 2 poor changeovers. Their second change and then their final change were very poor indeed. The Swiss out in lane 8 with Ricardo Dietscher handing over to Salome Cora, Cornelia Halbier and Cynthia Reindler. Well, we're hearing Brazil have been disqualified in that men's 4x100 meters relay. I'm very saddened to hear that. Yeah, you can see that foot there. On that left foot of the outgoing runner, I think. And that is a huge disappointment, of course, for Brazil. Goodness me.
Such fine margins, aren't they?
Well, they are. There's that adjusted result from the men's sprint relay. Only 4 teams completing it. Brazil and Ghana disqualified. Oh, dear. Well, it just shows the vulnerability of athletes in these events. Is extreme at the best of times, but in these conditions perhaps ramped up a little bit more. Japan go in 9, Switzerland 8, France 7, Italy in 6. The Poles, the host nation, go in lane 5, third fastest in qualifying. The Netherlands go in 4 with that really strong squad. Watch skippers on the second leg down the back straight. The Danes go in 3, and then Ecuador already with that national record with the 5th fastest time in the heats yesterday. They go in lane 2 on the inside. Of course, the tighter bends of the inside lanes are significant. It's not really until you get out to lanes 3 or 4 that it becomes less of a factor. But lane 1 is being kept empty because there's no point in forcing a team into that lane with the really tight bends. But lane 2 is a significant disadvantage over, for example, lanes 5, 6 or 7. So the women's 4x100 meters, real drama in that men's race. Unfortunately, only 4 teams recording a finishing time. Let's hope this one goes more smoothly. The Netherlands, remember, in lane 4. Jamile Samuel on the first leg for them has run well. Hands over to skippers there. Center of picture. Watch the changeover for the Netherlands. It was a really good changeover. And skippers now in the blue tights and orange top blasting away. They lead the Netherlands from Ecuador and Japan. The halfway stage. And a good changeover from the Netherlands. Skippers to Visser. Fabulous change. And surely they're storming away with this one in the orange of Holland. Look at this. She's gone off early, has Sydney. Oh, she's having to slow. That was a disastrous changeover for the Netherlands. My word. That went all so wrong. And it's now Italy, ironically, who are the beneficiaries. Poland are going to take second place. The Netherlands having to settle for third. And it was a disastrous final changeover for the Netherlands. There is no other word for it. Dear, oh dear. Visser running her leg well. Must have had 5 meters on the other teams. Sedney went off too early, had to slow dramatically to get the baton, and when she did, I think she might have been outside the zone, we shall see. But irony upon irony, the Italians getting it right there as right as they possibly could, benefiting from the Dutch error and coming out as champions.
Well, this is what this event is all about, isn't it? It's so much drama at high speed, and the Italians are absolutely delighted with that one. 43.79 seconds. I'm sure the last leg runner, Fonte, couldn't believe it when she hit the front. You never know what's going to happen around you. The Polish, they finished second, 44.10. But that race was all about the Dutch, wasn't it? About, you know, we thought they were going to run a quick time. And if we actually look how much they were leading into that last change, it would have been one of the quickest times ever, probably. But these are real emotions, and you can see how much it means to all of these athletes. I'm sure if you would have told them that they would come away the victors 2 days ago, they would never have believed it. Maybe even 10 minutes ago.
Well, we're being told that the Netherlands on our computers at the moment, while they sit in third place, their final change is being looked at. How frustrated must they be, because the lead-off leg from Jamile Samuel was fabulous. Her change to Skippers was brilliant. Skippers ran a great leg. Her change to Visser was perfect as well, and then it all came unstuck. And there has to be a team acceptance of the error. You can't put it down to an individual. Occasionally, very rarely, you see athletes having a few words with each other, but Skipper's there smiling. She knows this is the very first exchange in a big, big season. Now watch this, the Dutch there. Now, Naomi Sedney just went off too early. She changes. Oh, does she get that baton? I think if the judges are kind, they will say, yes, she got it right on the line.
Well, here we go again. I couldn't quite see the changeover mark, but she definitely had the baton in her hand, but did Visser still have one hand on it as well? I don't know. But you can just see all the momentum just lost completely by Sydney there, as the Polish athletes could just overtake her and just really eat up that mistake, unfortunately.
Well, the Poles and the Netherlands and the Dutch been given the same time at the moment, 44.10. It's down to thousandths of a second, 5 one-thousandths of a second separating the Poles and the Dutch in second and third. The Italians, with that final leg runner, Vittoria Fontana, coming in on fresh legs. There are only 6 fastest in qualifying, but at the moment, they are the winners, 43.79. And the Dutch quartet, well, they do make it onto the rostrum with that third place as things stand. Japan were 4th, Ecuador 5th, Switzerland 6th, and Denmark 7th. The French failing to finish, unfortunately, from lane 7.
Well, a few team tactics, a few analytics, probably, all of them talking about things, and got the Polish flag being draped around them. Maybe they're doing that for a little bit of warmth.
I'd never thought of that, but I suspect they are grateful for it, Jenny. You're right. There it is. And that is, well, another one that coaches can use as what not to do, I suppose. Good running there from Fontana. So determined through that last 50.
And these are scenes I always like to see there. Hooper running all the way down from her leg, and all 4 of them gathered really quickly, didn't they, at the end? When your team are doing so well, even if you're over the other side of the track, you can make it back to that finish line to have the embraces.
Well, it looks like we do have an official result. France failed to finish. Switzerland disqualified. The Netherlands do indeed take 3rd place behind that fabulous victory from Italy, a season's best, 43.79. It's quicker than they ran yesterday, 44.02 yesterday. Poland, 44.10, with just a few thousandths quicker, 5 one-thousandths quicker than the Netherlands. Japan finishing 4th. 44.40 the Japanese, only a couple of meters slower than in the heat, Jenny. I mean, generally these performances have been fantastic.
Yeah, they are, and you know, I'm just looking straight after all the athletes have finished the race. They're back to putting the face mask on. Been really, really good here for making sure everyone's really safe from the pandemic.
Well, the next event, the 4x200 meters relay for women. The men will be next up, the ladies out first. Poland go out in lane 6 from the 5 teams in this final. Kuzowska will be the lead-off athlete, handing over to Chiba, Adamek and Gola. Then the Danes in their tights. Louise Oostergaard, she is running on fresh legs. The next 3 athletes, well, there was a late change. Matilda Kramer replacing Bomber on leg 3 for the Danes. The Irish, well, they are on a real crest of a wave. Lynch, Doherty, Quinn and Becker, their quartet. Then the Kenyans, Joan Chirona will be the lead-off athlete, handing over to Doreen Waka, Monica Safania and Maximila Imali. Watch Imali on that final leg for the Kenyans. And Ecuador will be on the inside. Gabriela Tenorio did leg 1 for the 4x100 just a few minutes ago. And Villalba is running on fresh legs on the second leg for them. Landazuri and Suarez. So I suspect in the the way these athletes operate in these conditions, Jenny, they'll all want to get out there, get their blocks in place, get in position and get the race done as quickly as possible. You don't want to be out there for extra minutes. I mean, I don't think we've had a full start all weekend, but delays are the last thing they want.
Don't curse it, Tim. Really interesting, actually. Ecuador, Denmark and Poland, their teams have just gone in the 4x1, and the timetabling is that there was only 13 minutes between one race and the other. So when you're talking about trying to keep warm, maybe it's quite a good idea that some of these athletes have come hot off the 4x1 straight into the 4x4, and this is what they do in training. You know, sprinters compared to middle and long distance runners, they probably have 10-12 minutes between high speed repetitions, so good training session for some of them.
Well, no Italian squad in this one, but they've had a fabulous day so far. They've won 2 of the 3 events so far, and they were second in the other of the Italians. They're having a brilliant day of finals here in Silesia. Kramer goes on the third leg for Denmark. Out in lane 5, the Irish athlete there, Sarah Quinn, just inside her in discussion with one of the officials. And a big shout out to all the officials on a cool, damp day. The organisation so far has been absolutely superb, and smiles everywhere around the arena from the locals, helping things go smoothly at this national stadium. Kenyan Joan Chirona will lead out her squad, and that's Safania, who goes on leg 3. Tend to see 200-meter specialists run the third leg for 4x100-meter teams, but of course, in theory, all these athletes are 200-meter specialists.
Yeah, going down the personal best, quite a lot of them 100-meter personal best, 200, even 400. So quite a mix of athletes coming at this one. I guess 200 meters fits perfectly in the middle for a lot of 100 and 400-meter athletes. And again, it's just a great opportunity that we've got the 4x200 meters, because it just allows more people, more opportunities to represent the nation, get some relay baton skills, and really let a lot of the coaches just see what form people are in at this early stage of the season in such a significant year.
Well, Ecuador go on the inside. Landazuri on the third leg for them. Ran leg 4 in the 4x100. Landazuri just 13 minutes ago. Can you believe? They're tightly packed, really, in championship terms, major event terms, these races. So Poland on the outside. Paulina Guzowska is their lead-off athlete. Kamila Chiba, Klaudia Adamek, and Milena Gola, the rest of her squad. Denmark, Louise Oostergaard running on fresh legs, passes over to Gravesgaard, Kramer and Glenna Fransen. Then Eve Lynch, Kate Doherty, Sarah Quinn and Sophie Becker for the Irish in lane 4. Kenya, Joan Chirona, Doreen Waka, Monica Sefania and Maximila Imali. And Ecuador on the inside with Angela Gabriela Tenorio on the opening leg for them. She'll hand over to Villalba, who's running on fresh legs, and Landazuri, who ran leg 4 in the 4x1, and Gabriela Anahi Suarez, who ran leg 2 in that 4x100 meters just a few minutes ago for Ecuador. Ecuador was 6th 2 years ago. Can they improve on that from lane 2? Surely they can if they can get the baton round. There's 5 teams here. Well, those big staggers, of course, take into account the nature of this 4x200 meters event. Poland on the outside look to have gone off really well. To left of picture, extreme left of picture, is Paulina Guzowska. They lead at the moment. See that graphic bottom left of your screen? That constantly changes, showing you the leader at each changeover. Poland from Ecuador and Ireland. Not a perfect changeover for the Poles, but it doesn't matter over 2 laps of the track. Ireland in second place at the moment, with Kate Doherty on this second leg, closing up on the Dane Gravesgaard outside her. Doherty there, working hard, really pumping hard with the arms and looking strong and bound down the back straight, but the poles will be tough to catch, Jenny.
Yeah, and this is a very hard race to judge for all those athletes who's running such a big stagger at the beginning, and of course they run in lanes the whole of the 2 laps. But that visual, that graphic at the bottom really helps, doesn't it? Poland from Ireland from Ecuador.
Well, coming to the final changeover for Ireland here, it's Sarah Quinn. She'll hand over to Sophie Becker. There was some pressure being applied from Kramer, but that seems to have reduced as a Poland handover. Very casual changeovers of Poland, because I think they know they've got a big, big lead here. The Irish have the stagger unwinding in their favour here. Can they close on Poland significantly here? Good running in lane 2 from Ecuador. Suarez it is in this final leg for them, as Kenya bring up the rear at the moment with Ireland in second place, still 3 or 4 metres shy of what they need. Marlena Gola here will not be caught. It's going to be victory for the home nation. Gola storming away and stretching away towards the line. Ireland second, and in third place it was indeed Ecuador. Well, a big win that for the Poles. A very comfortable win as it turned out. Great running from the Irish, who were applying pressure right until the last 50 or 60 metres of that 2-lap race, the 4x200. Unique, of course, a race of that duration being run in lanes. But when you've built up a big lead, you do have the luxury, unlike in the 4x100, of taking plenty of care over the changeovers.
You know, some of those changeovers, it's very hard when you're coming in at, you know, that sort of speed with fatigue in your legs. The Irish are delighted with that national record, in fact. But yeah, I was watching a couple of the athletes. The 4x1, you're going through with momentum. The 4x4, yes, you're a little bit tired, of course, when you give the baton over, but the momentum isn't there and you've got more of a relaxed changeover. But that was really tough, those changeovers with fatigued legs, and you're still coming at high speed. But I'm sure all these women really enjoyed that opportunity of competing over that not so often ran distance of 4x200 metres. The Irish athletes are delighted with that second place.
Well, they should be. They set a national record behind Poland. Poland, by the way, setting a national record as well, 134.98 by over half a second. The Irish setting a national record by almost a second. Just a couple of clicks shy of a full second faster than ever before from that Irish quartet to take second place. Ecuador third from that inside lane. They set a season's best with 136.86. Denmark fourth, Kenya in fifth. But Denmark and Kenya both also setting national records. So 4 national records from the 5 teams. And that, of course, is explained by this event being very rarely run. And there will be big chunks to come off those times, I'm sure, in years ahead, because in warmer conditions, each of those athletes would have felt a lot more comfortable powering round their half lap. Well, we can have a look at some of those changeovers. The Polish squad, all smiles, of course. Not only the winners, but a national record for them. That's a unique double. Look at this first changeover from Poland. Goes off a little early, does the Polish second leg runner, Kamila Chiba, but it doesn't matter because such was the quality of the running from Guzowska. And then that second changeover, Chiba to Adamek. The Irish there having a really good changeover. The Danes not quite as good, and that cost them 2 or 3 metres perhaps. Here's the third changeover. But Jenny, the Poles were not to be caught, not to be denied.
So much strength in depth in Polish athletics now, and particularly on the women's side. 400 metres, particularly, you know, that squad has won so many medals over the years. And people who make up a 400-metre squad, of course, are 200-metre runners, 400-metre runners, sometimes 800 metres and 400-metre hurdlists. And I'm sure a lot of these women are just so grateful to get an opportunity, because it's hard to break into those squads.
Well, it is hard to break into those squads. As I mentioned, 4 national records. There it is, Ecuador, who finished up in third place, made the rostrum, the only team not to do so. But Poland, the winners, 134.98 by almost a second from the Irish. Both those squads setting national records. Ecuador third, Denmark and Kenya, their consolation for 4th and 5th, and national records for them as well. Big national record, that, for the Danes. And for Kenya, well, a national record as well. And there's the split times, and Jenny, Poland very, very consistent there. Look at that, their third and fourth leg athletes very quick.
Yeah, and how amazing is it that we've actually got this information, this data? I'm sure a lot of the coaches will love studying that, but you can just see so much depth, as we've said, in that Polish squad, and indeed some fantastic times. The Kenyan athlete there, 23.45 seconds, was actually the quickest on that leg. So the purple colour is the fastest athlete in each of those legs. So the Polish fastest on first and third, the Irish athlete fastest on the second, and the Kenyan athlete fastest on the fourth. Really, really useful.
Yes, Maximila Imali it was on that Kenyan fourth leg, and boy, oh boy, didn't she take the opportunity to run the quickest leg of all of them. 23.45 in these conditions is special. So the winning time, 1:34.98. Understandably a long way off the USA's world record set back in April 2000, 21 years ago. I didn't even realize 4x200's being run that long ago, Jenny.
Yeah, I think in the US they do it quite a lot in college, so they're used to this event. I think it was the year I was born, wasn't that, Tim? 2000?
You wish. Is that the year you went to college, Jen, wasn't it?
It's actually the year that I went to the World Juniors, so that's how old I am. And looking through the statistics, quite a lot of these athletes have come through that World Junior system. A fantastic opportunity and developing opportunity for many of them.
Well, the men's 4x200 metres relay is next. 6 teams go in that one. The Kenyans again represented. They will be in lane 5 with Denmark and Germany outside them. The Poles will be buzzing. I'm sure they'll be aware that their ladies have taken the victory in their event just a few minutes ago. Portugal. Well, this will be a national record for Portugal if they get the baton round safely. They've never run this before, a Portuguese squad. There is no national record at the moment. And Ecuador, well, they have the inside line yet again. I wonder if they might feel a little aggrieved at that, but I suppose they've still got to run the same distance. They'll be in lane 2 in this men's race. Same as their ladies, their female squad. Back in 2019 in Yokohama, the USA won from South Africa and Germany. Germany go in this one. They are on the outside in lane 7. It's almost like gladiators heading out into an arena, isn't it? These athletes here being held in the tunnel. Engines revving. So Germany will be the first out in this men's 4x200 metres relay as the athletes are presented. They were third in Yokohama 2 years ago, Germany. This is a different quartet completely to 2 years back. Stephen Muller, Felix Straub, Ansa Pepra and Owen Ansa. Then the Danes. Udengard Knudsen is their lead-off athlete. He's running on fresh leg. The others have all run already this weekend. Kenya go in lane 5. They were 4th in 2019. And will want to go better than their ladies. 5th in their equivalent race a few minutes ago. The Poles, well, as I said, they will be fired up. There's no doubt about it. 3 of the 4 have raced already this weekend. They were 3rd in 2015, but Poland, 6 years ago now in Nassau in the Bahamas. The Portuguese, a national record guaranteed. The same quartet as in the 4x100 metres heat yesterday, but a different order here. They were disqualified in the 4x100. And Ecuador head out to their lane 2 position. Went out in the heats in 2019, but their national record was set in the heats in Yokohama 2 years back. As I say, they failed to qualify for the final. Those blocks are put in exactly the right position. You see athletes normally use a tape, don't you, Jenny? A measuring tape to position their blocks exactly to the centimetre. Not sure I've seen one today. A measuring tape normally used to position the blocks.
Yeah, you've not seen any, are you saying?
I don't think I've seen a tape yet. They're all stepping it out. Or have we seen a tape yet?
Well, my position here isn't quite good enough to see, but yeah, we can definitely see that the changeover athletes who's actually putting that tape down, yeah, they certainly seem to just be going through the old-fashioned method of using the steps.
Ansa Pepra will be on the third leg for Germany.
There's some good athletes in this, Tim. You know, if you actually look down the personal bests, you know, we've got some of the Kenyan athletes. Some of them are 5 times Kenyan national champion. 200-meter personal bests around about 20.4 seconds. We've got people who are former South American junior champions. That's Lopez. He'll go on the third leg for Ecuador over this 200-meter distance. Pan American 2019 junior bronze medalist. That's Mark Conguez. He goes on the second leg. And yeah, there's people all around. They're getting medals at, you know, junior competitions, regional competitions, national competitions. And again, just an opportunity for a lot of them to don their national vest and try and get into those other relay teams, maybe the more established relay teams, the 4x1 and the 4x4.
Well, Jamaica set to the world record in the inaugural edition of the World Relays back in 2014 in the warmth of Nassau in the Bahamas. Their time, remember this, for 4x200 was 1 minute 18.63, so a long way under averaging 20 seconds per leg. Now, of course, they do get a running start, the athletes on legs 2, 3 and 4, but nonetheless the changeovers have to be managed, and that is a pretty special time. Santa Monica Track Club, an American track club, hold the second fastest time in history, and that was set back in 1994, 118.68. So anything down towards 120, perhaps in these conditions, anything down towards 121 would be very, very quick indeed by any one of these 6 teams. So Germany go on the outside. Stephen Muller for them. Let's hope their fortunes are better than in the 4x100 earlier. Denmark, Stefan Udengard Knudsen, running on fresh legs, goes on their first leg in 6th. Kenya's Mark Otieno Odhiambo is their lead-off man. For Poland, it's Dominik Kopek. Ran leg 2 yesterday in the 4x100 meter heats. For Portugal, Federico Covello, leg 3 in the 4x100 heats yesterday. The same quartet as in the 4x100. This, of course, is a straight final. And Ecuador go on the inside with Alex Quinones. He will hand over to Anderson Marquinez, Steven Marcelo Salas Lopez, and Catriel Angulo. So Poland victorious in the women's race. Can they repeat that here? They go in lane 4. Away they go then, looking for any change in the echelon. We will see from the graphic bottom left of the screen very quickly that Kenya, Denmark and Germany at the moment appear to be 1, 2, 3. That would be a great leg from Kenya's Odhiambo, Mark Otieno Odhiambo. Get the changeover right. Oh my gosh! And it's Danes who have dropped the baton at the first changeover. What a disaster for them. The baton went down, the incoming runner collapsed to the track. Germany going well at the moment. Felix Straub on this second leg for them will hand over to Lucas Ansa Pepra. They're under some pressure from Kenya inside them, who have had a fabulous first couple of legs. For Kenya on this third leg is Matthew, Elijah Onkware Matthew. But a drop baton at 4x200, Jenny, shows how difficult it can be at speed.
It does, and I knew it was a challenge, but I'm really impressed by this Kenyan quartet so far. Wouldn't necessarily think Kenya were going to be great at sprints, more endurance, of course, but now they've been overtaken by the Germans, and it is a good German quartet.
And Poland have dropped the baton there as well on that third change of dear oh dear. Germany way out in front. Owen Ansa storming away to victory. He's got about a 12-meter lead. No problems for the Germans here in those changes. changeover. Kojo Musa of Denmark would have been inside him, but he's gone. It's Hesburn Ochieng of Kenya who takes second place in the 4x200 meters relay. And I think Poland there through Karol Zalewski taking third place. Or was it the Poles who dropped the baton halfway through that third changeover? But the Germans, well, in a different class, a different quartet to Yokohama, but they go 2 places better. Third 2 years ago, the win here today, very impressively too, and frankly, they did it, well, seemingly at a canter. There was nobody within 10 meters of them. The Poles indeed did drop the baton at that third changeover. What a great shame. They jogged through just in case. Disqualifications can come through unexpectedly. But what a huge disappointment. And I wonder if we've talked about it a lot, Jenny, but I just wonder if the cold gets into the hands and a little bit of carelessness is forgivable when you're really cold and shivery and conditions you're unfamiliar with them.
Yeah, and again, it's something that they probably don't practice a lot, this 4x200 meters, and maybe you just are a little bit more relaxed and you take the eye off the ball because you think it's not the same pressure as the 4x1. But yeah, we've had more disasters in the 4x2 than the 4x1. But great scenes here. The Kenyans are now doing well at lots of different events. Of course, they had Yego, the world champion over the javelin, quite a few years ago now. Getting into the sprint events now as well. But I have to say that German squad, they did really well. Of course, they never saw any other athlete the whole of the competition because they were out there in the outside lane. They probably didn't even know what was going on inside there. Maybe it was better that they didn't drop batons and all the drama. But 1:22.44, that's just over 20.5 seconds each. Yes, of course, they've got momentum going into that, but don't think that's quite a bad time on a chilly evening.
But does that sometimes help, being on the outside lane in a relay? Because you have tunnel vision, you have no choice. You're not going to be looking around for the opposition in a 4x100 or 4x200 on any of the legs. So you just get on with what is going on in your lane and try to nail it and get it right. Sometimes when you're in the middle lanes, there's a lot of traffic, a lot of activity going on around you. Batons flying through the air as we've seen today. As
we saw, they were just very undetracted by anything. And I don't think they probably knew they were going to win until the last 50 metres. And I think Portugal have just realised, here we go.
This is the Danes dropping the baton. Was this at their first changeover, I think? Oh dear, the incoming runner stretching, leaning forwards, overstriding, bang, down he goes. The baton wasn't transferred.
Yeah, he had 3 goes at it as well, didn't he? He tried his very best.
And watch the Poles there in the white vests handing over there. That's their third changeover. The baton goes down, bang, almost a hindrance to the athletes inside them. You could trip on that.
That's such a shame as well, because they were really fighting with the Kenyans for that second position. But here we go. Great scenes here. Germany taking it, like we say, on the outside. Didn't see any other team throughout. And Portugal there with Pereira was finishing really, really strong. He normally goes over the 100 metres, and he was really pulling Kenya back over that straight. But Ansa managed to just run all the way down the straight, unattended by anybody else, and great images. He looks across on the inside of him, nobody around him, no one to worry them. It was a dominant victory for the German quartet.
He will have known, I guess, looking back as the third leg unfolded, that he had a very comfortable lead, but I'm sure stayed focused down the home straight there for that comfortable victory. Almost 2 seconds the winning margin for Germany over Kenya, and what a surprise second place for the Kenyan quartet. Brilliant running from them. No national records in this one until you get down to 4th place Ecuador, who set a national record with 1:24.89. And actually, just checking, that is a national record for Ecuador by almost 2.5 seconds. So they did perform really well. A slap of congratulations there to Odhiambo, the lead-off man for Kenya, who ran a fabulous leg. They were 4th in 2019, 2nd 2 years later.
Well, this is the Portuguese squad. They're pleased with their 3rd position here. And it's nice, isn't it, to see the camaraderie between all of them.
So there's confirmation of the result. Germany winning from Kenya, Portugal third, Ecuador fourth with that national record. A national record for the Portuguese as well, actually. Denmark failing to finish. We saw that crash to the track in a changeover, and Poland disqualified, I'm afraid, for the baton, I think, disappearing way out of their lane. But they did retrieve it and run home, but then were disqualified. Well, there's the split times. And again, 19.96 for the Germans. Their final leg athlete, Jenny, Owen Ansah, under 20 in these conditions. Brilliant.
Yeah, he drove all the way to the line. And like you say, Tim, he would have been aware that they had such a big margin.
Well, it just shows what a difference to not having to reduce speed too much at the start of your leg can make. Well, we come to the penultimate event of this second day and of the fifth edition of these World Relays, the women's 4x400 meters relay. The Netherlands go out in lane 9. What a strong squad they've got. They are the European indoor champions just a few weeks ago in Torun, here in Poland. Germany, the same team in the same order as in qualifying yesterday. Nadina Gunska will take the baton out of the blocks for them. Belgium, third best in qualifying. They go in lane 7. No Bolingo in this squad. She did the first leg for them yesterday in their heats. So Kaukait will be the lead-off athlete for the Belgians. Poland, well, they were the champions, or the winners 2 years ago, beating the USA, and they were the second best in heats, and they do have a very strong squad indeed. Great Britain, likewise, 6th in 2019. No Zoe Clark in this quartet. We've seen a race already, but they do have a strong 4. Cuba, the fastest in qualifying, the same team in the same order. They set a world lead in their heat, 3:27.9. They go in 4. The Italians taking third place 2 years ago, and what a day they're having. The same team as yesterday. They were non-automatic qualifiers though, only third in the first heat yesterday. And France will be in lane 2 on the inside. A totally different quartet from the French. I think their attitude was that the job was done. They've made this final. They've made the Olympic Games in Tokyo by dint of that alone. And so they've changed the squad to give 4 more athletes a run out. But the Dutch, well, with Femke Bol on the third leg, the reigning European indoor champion at just the age of 21 a few weeks ago. She ran the fastest leg in the heats yesterday, Bol, 49.81. She looks fired up for this. I know some pundits think she might go low 49s here today. We'll obviously bring you that information. But this promises to be a beaut, doesn't it, Jenny? The Netherlands against Poland, against Great Britain, against Cuba, the fastest in qualifying. It's really nicely balanced.
It is, and the Cubans looked impressive, but I've actually been looking down the start list, and it looks like the Netherlands are really taking this event seriously. They had a great quartet yesterday in the mixed event, but they look like they're actually really focusing on the men's 4x4 and the women's 4x4 as individual events, just gender-specific events, and they've really made sure that their strongest athletes are in both of those quartets. So we've got Bol, we've got De Wit, we've got Clever, and we've got Hondenkamp for the Netherlands team, and I think them and the Cubans will take it all the way to the line. The Cubans were very impressive yesterday, and let's just see what happens. But Femi Bol, she's just been a revelation the last 2 seasons. She's now in the world top 10 all-time over 400-meter hurdles, won that European indoor title, and 49.81 seconds yesterday. Let's hope the Cubans run them really close to the line, and she has to run a low 49 seconds. It'd be great to see.
Well, she was the world #1 400-meter hurdler last year, Femke Bol, and we know she's special. The British squad, Lavia Nielsen, Amma Pipi, Emily Diamond and Jessie Knight. Slight change in the order there. Cubans, well, can they repeat their form of yesterday? Zurian Echevarria will send them off. They set the world lead in the heats. We may well see that improved today, although as I say that, high up here in the stands, the wind has certainly picked up in the last few minutes. I wonder what it's doing down there on the stadium floor. They are pretty sheltered in this wonderful bowl of a stadium, But undoubtedly it will be swirling a little bit. I wonder if it'll be in the favour of the athletes. Well, there's an indication. They're pretty sheltered down at track level, it would seem, at one end, maybe not at the other. Will it be a factor? So in lane 9, the Netherlands, Eva Hovenkamp will lead out their squad. She'll hand over to De Witte. Femke Bol on leg 3 and Lieke Klaver on the final leg for them. Germany go in 8. Gonska on the opening leg for them. Belgium on 7. Pauline Kaukait on the first leg. Then Poland on the inside. The winners 2 years ago beating the USA. They go in 6. Great Britain in 5. Lavia Nielsen in very good form recently. Watch her, the Britain in 5. Cuba go in 4. Echevarria, the same squad in the same order as were fastest in the heats. Then Italy go in 3. They were 3rd 2 years ago. And France go in lane 2 with a totally different squad. Of course, running on fresh legs, that French quartet. Italy and Poland were 3rd and 1st 2 years ago, respectively. Great Britain only 6th 2 years ago in Yokohama. But looking at their lineup and the experience in it, one would expect them to go maybe a place or two better than that at least. So the women's 4x400 metres relay, the final event for the women of the weekend. France in 2, Italy 3, Cuba 4, Great Britain 5, Poland 6, Belgium 7, Germany 8, and the Netherlands, watch them on the outside in lane 9. An extraordinarily long delay again for the athletes there in their blocks, but away they go. And it has ensured, I suppose to be fair, not one single full start all weekend. Jenny will accuse me of taking a chance for the athletes again, but it's all going very smoothly at the moment. Going well out in lane 7 is Belgium, Pauline Kaukait, who ran 52.1 on the second leg yesterday for Belgium, has had a storm ahead. She's gone past Gonska of Germany. And indeed, Hovenkamp for the Netherlands is leaving them with a little bit of work to do from here on. She only ran 53.5 yesterday, Hovenkamp for the Netherlands, nearest the camera. She's finishing strongly, but look at this. Almost side by side, these 5 teams down the home straight in lanes 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9.
Yeah, it's always difficult to tell at this stage who's actually ahead. I'd say it was Poland from Great Britain, from the Netherlands, as all the second leg runners head off. This is Amma Pippi now from Great Britain. She's a really experienced athlete over the last few years. Studied in America. They run a lot of relays over there. And the Polish athlete as well. This is Holub Kolik. She's really experienced, plenty of medals, world, European and Olympic relay medals. She's followed in 3rd place there by the Cuban Almanza, better known over 800 metres. But as it stands, it's Great Britain with Pippi, Poland, Cuba, Germany is still there. On the outside, Italy coming through.
Well, the world lead marker is right up alongside the British athlete Pippi. Brilliant leg from Nielsen to open the British account. Pippi, who ran the first leg yesterday, is going strongly here. Will hand over with a couple of metres lead ahead of the Poles and Cuba in 3rd place. Italy moving into 4th, Germany in 5th, the Netherlands in 6th. They've got a lot of work to do at the moment at the halfway stage. But Great Britain here, well, you might as well be out in front. Let the others chase you. They've got to run wide around the bends, and plenty of experience in those legs of Emily Diamond. She ran the mixed 4x4 yesterday, ran a superb leg, Diamond. 51.86 was her split. Moving well at the moment. The Poles in 2nd, looking dangerous, and then the Netherlands beginning to close up in 4th.
This is what we expected, didn't we? Femi Bol, and if you look at the caption just over on the left-hand side of the screen, this is metres that every team are behind the leader, and it still is Great Britain holding on, and here comes the Cuban athlete and Femi Bol all the way to the line as they hand over to the last leg runner. All 3 athletes set off at the same time.
Jessie Knight for Great Britain just holds the inside there. Fabulous closing from Femke Bol there as Emily Diamond just struggled through the last 30 or 40 metres. But Britain lead from the Netherlands. The powerfully built Lieke Klaver, who ran in the mixed 4x4 yesterday with 51.6 on her shoulder. She's dwarfing the little Briton. Going well in third place is still Cuba, nipping at the heels of the leading pair. That's Roxana Gomez for Cuba. She ran 50.9 yesterday on the anchor leg. Can she get past the Brits and the Dutch here? Into the home straight, 100 metres to run. Great Britain leading, there's nothing in it. And look at the Cubans. Roxana Gomez storms away here. Coming through strongly the Poles too. What a final leg from Natalia Kaczmarek. It's going to be Cuba, Poland and Great Britain take third. And the Dutch came unstuck. They're down the home straight, finishing in fourth place, out of the rostrum positions. But what a run there. A historic run from Roxana Gomez. I'm dying to see her split. They were fastest in qualifying and critically fastest today when it matters more. The winners are Cuba. Their time 3:28.41. Not quite as quick as yesterday, but that doesn't matter. Fabulous final leg from Gomez.
It's very hard to watch these scenes and not even get emotional. Herrera, the tears in her eyes there that they've actually took the victory in this one. And Gomez was impressive, not only on that leg, but she's not even breathing. She looks like she could have, you know, carried on for another few meters for sure. She wasn't stretching all the way to that line, and we can see what this means to all the athletes. This will be a significant victory for them on the road to Tokyo and their preparations.
Well, there's a team to look out for. The story will be told in full when we get to see the splits from the various athletes. Femke Bol certainly bringing the Dutch back into contention. Lieke Klaver couldn't quite finish it off for them on that final leg. They were fourth fastest in the heats and fourth today in the final, the Dutch. But Cuba are the winners from Poland, from Great Britain. The French, well, we knew they'd put out a team that was not their absolute best. They finished down in 8th place, just behind Belgium.
I'm just looking at Laus there. She's had a busy weekend, hasn't she? She went in the heat and the final of both the mixed and the 4x4 women's races. I think she's made her way round this track 4 times this weekend. And the Polish always produce the goods, don't they? A lot of the athletes on that Polish team were not the names that we're used to. They're not the household names, but they did great. And of course, Great Britain, they've won medals at every single championship over the last few years.
Well, here's the second changeover. Great Britain in the lead at this point, with Emily Diamond going out on the third leg with a good lead ahead of Poland and the rest. But Diamond there just being passed by Cuba and the Netherlands. And at this point, well, the Netherlands in second place, although certainly Jessie Knight on the final leg, the anchor leg for Great Britain, did really well. Told that inside line. She couldn't resist Gomez, though. They set the world lead in the heats, and that remains the world lead for Cuba. They take the win. They are delighted. $40,000 to be shared between that Cuban quartet for first place, $20,000 for second, and $10,000 for the British quartet in third place. Prize money, by the way, goes right down to include 8th place. But you can see what it means to the Cubans. I don't suppose the money's in their minds right now, Jenny. At the end of your career, it's the medals, the titles, the championships you win, and the victories that really matter. And this is a major victory for the Cuban squad. In an Olympic season, everything carries a little bit more significance, doesn't it? It has a sort of golden lining.
It does, and these are the events that you train for, you know, on those cold winter evenings. This is what it's all about. You don't often dream about finishing on the top. You're just concentrating on what it's going to take to get you there. But these are the moments that you have to enjoy in your athletics career. And we can just see great scenes there of the Polish athletes. They just keep producing these athletes year on year on year. And as soon as you see that Poland are in any event, you know that they're going to have a strong squad. And it's great that some of the younger athletes have been embedded into this team this weekend.
Well, Poland were the champions 2 years ago. They settled for second today. They are so consistent with batons in their hand. But Cuba are the winners today in the women's 4x400 meters relay. 3:28.41, winning by 3 or 4 meters after an astonishing final leg from Roxana Gomez to close their account. Poland second, Great Britain in third, and the Netherlands having to settle for fourth. But we can have a look at the split times from the various athletes on the different legs. And Jenny, I know you'll be fascinated by this one. Everybody wanting to see what Gomez ran, for example, for Cuba on that final leg, 50.96. Poland, their final leg athlete, Kaczmarek, 50.59. And for the Dutch, 50.58. Femke Bol on that third leg. That was the quickest of the day.
Yeah, Lavia Nelson there for Great Britain. She was the fastest first leg runner. I think they've moved her from her position yesterday, so that seemed to suit them. And it was interesting, wasn't it, putting Femke Bol on third leg. But they needed it, the Dutch team. They needed to get further up. So I think it was the right tactic.
50.58. I think, again, many were expecting her to run around a second quicker, but in these conditions, it's very, very difficult indeed. Great running from the British quartet. Lavia Nielsen, delighted with that first leg, I suspect. And what a run it was from Jessie Knight to close with a really quick split to bring the British home for that third spot.
And these are familiar scenes that we're used to seeing with the Great Britain and Northern Ireland team, aren't we? Getting in the top three, I'm sure that was definitely the minimum thing that they came here wanting to achieve, and smiles all around.
The men's 4x400 meters is next. It is, of course, the last event of the weekend. The ladies' glory taken by Cuba in their final discipline. Who will do the same in the men's race? There is so much to run for. Never mind about the money. It's all about pride. It's about projecting yourself into this summer and these very, very early days of May. And these athletes can only look forward to warmer weather. So whatever they do here tonight will be the launch pad for this Olympic season. Colombia will be the first of the 8 teams out then. Second in their heat to Japan. They've got the same team and they'll be running in the same order. John Alejandro Palazza will be their first man out of the blocks. The Italians have had a great day already. Second to South Africa in their heat. The same team in the same order for them as well. Lorenzo Benatti is their lead-off man. 46.9 he ran yesterday. Botswana, well, Isaac Makwala ran the first leg yesterday and he runs the first leg again for his squad. 5th fastest in the heats. Same team, but they're slightly changed order from the Botswana quartet. South Africa will go in lane 6. Lithe Pillai, 46.25. He ran yesterday out of the blocks. They were 6th 2 years ago, South Africa, and they go in lane 6. Netherlands go in lane 5. Can they get amongst the first 3? Their ladies just denied that a few minutes ago. They were the fastest in the heat. The same team and the same order as yesterday for the Netherlands. They're relying upon that squad. Japan, who were 4th in 2019 behind Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica and Belgium, go in lane 4. Then France will be in lane 3. Totally different quartet as in the heats yesterday to what's in the heats yesterday. Exactly the same philosophy as their ladies adopted. Will they do better than their ladies who were down in 8th place just a little while ago? And Belgium, well, the 3rd places 2 years ago in 3:02.70. What a strong squad they've got. Jonathan Sakur, Robert van der Bemden, Dylan Borley and Kevin Borley on the final leg. European champions, reigning European champions actually, Belgium outdoors in the 4x400, having taken gold in Berlin 2018 and regular medalists at global level as well. Bronze medalist in the world indoors in 2018. The host nation, Poland, didn't qualify from the heats. That's a shame, of course. But we are guaranteed new winners. Trinidad and Tobago not represented here this weekend. Jenny, again, nicely poised race. And we saw that the women's race was very close, several teams fighting down the home straight on the last leg.
Yeah, well, all these teams were really equally matched from the heats yesterday. All 3 of the heats, in fact, they were all within 3:03 and 3:04. All of these teams making the final. Belgium, quite interestingly, have gone for the same team in the same order where they won the world bronze in Doha. They were under 3 minutes there, 2:58.78. And I think we've already seen from the women's event, we're not really expecting those sort of times here today. A little bit cold, which is a shame because we were actually thinking that the Netherlands could attack their national record, so we need to have a look out for that. It's 3:02.37, and yesterday they were 3:03.03, so they were just 0.6 of a second away in the qualification from that national record.
We can see the runners who will be in the later legs trying desperately to keep warm. They're bouncing around. Tell you what, if I was in leg 4, I think I'd have about 3 layers on and only stripped down with a few seconds to go, because the leg 4 athletes have got quite a few minutes to go just yet as these lead-off athletes begin to position themselves. There is Benatti, Lorenzo Benatti for Italy, easily spotted, not just because of the blonde flowing locks, but long pink socks being worn again that he wore yesterday. Pretty smart move, particularly in these temperatures.
Must be his lucky socks, Tim.
His lucky socks? Well, they are sensible socks as far as I'm concerned in this sort of weather. Belgium with the youngster Jonathan Sakur on the opening leg. So Colombia go on the outside. Second in their heat to Japan. Palazzo will lead them out. He ran 46.6 yesterday. Benatti 46.9 in his pink socks was their opening leg runner yesterday. Isaac Makwala 46.06 yesterday. South Africa go in lane 6. Lithe Pillai 46.25 was his opening leg yesterday. Then the Netherlands, fastest in the heats, Joachim Dobber will be their lead-off man. 45.9 his opener yesterday. If he can repeat that today, it'll be something. Rikuya Ito of Japan, the second fastest in the heats, their squad. He's their lead-off man in 3. Then the French, Victor Corolet. Totally different quartet, as I mentioned, for the French in lane 3. And Belgium with that very strong squad. Can they produce the goods here with the Borlée brothers on legs 3 and 4, Dylan and Kevin respectively? Belgium were 3rd 2 years ago, the best placed in Yokohama of these 8 teams. So much experience in that Belgian squad. But the Netherlands, well, nothing is guaranteed. I must admit I was expecting the Dutch ladies to get amongst the first 3 in their race at least. They finished up in 4th place. They go in lane 5 here, the Dutch squad. They were the fastest in the heats. Time's irrelevant, really. Position is what matters. So 4 laps of the track then in this final event of the weekend. And Joachim Dobber, 45.9 out of the blocks yesterday. That was pretty quick. He's in lane 5 there, centre of picture. Moving up already on Lithe Pillai of South Africa. Also going well is Makwala. You would expect that second to left there in the light blue in lane 7 for Botswana. Indeed, this is a wonderful leg from Makwala. I wonder whether Dobber went off a little bit too quickly for the Netherlands in lane 5. Good running on the outside there from Palazzo for Colombia. And excellent running too. Good closing from Pillai for South Africa in the yellow as the first handover. We can see South Africa just in the lead from the Netherlands and Botswana.
Yeah, there's hardly anything, isn't it, in this at the moment. We can just see maybe South Africa just edging it, but I can see Bonnevesa now from the Netherlands just taking hold and taking control down that back straight. He's running with his shades on. He won't be able to see anybody else, just clear track ahead of him. And they're queuing up behind him, aren't they? The Netherlands at the moment from Botswana, from Japan in 3rd position, and South Africa actually just coming up now on his shoulder. For South Africa, this is Nene as he powers all the way to the line to give the baton over in 1st place onto his outgoing runner.
Great running from Nene there on that second leg. The South Africans, and he goes down, but the South Africans are in the lead. The baton transferred successfully. The Netherlands in 2nd place, Botswana in 3rd, Japan in 4th, going well. Italy with a lot of work to do at the moment, back in 5th. But what a leg that was from the South African Nene. Ranti Marvin Digale, leg 3 back in 2019 when they finished in 6th place. He ran leg 4 yesterday in 45.9, and he's going well now. Although Botswana looking dangerous here. Titiro and Zamani ran leg 4 yesterday. The responsibility of leg 3 here as he comes around the outside. He's taken the long route, but has he got the legs? As the Netherlands now begin to attack down the outside. Ramsey Angela running really strongly, takes them into the lead, and won a 3rd leg from Kentaro Sato of Japan to hand over in 2nd place. It's very, very tight between these 4.
Yeah, what an absolutely fantastic race there from Sato from Japan, and this has set his team up really, really well. But we just have to look at South Africa there on the outside, going all the way to the front now with Mavula. He heads the Netherlands from Botswana from Japan.
Well, Oscar Mavundla with 200 to run exploded through the first 150 there. I wonder if he saved enough for the home straight, because Tony van Diepen ran 44.9 for the Netherlands yesterday on the final leg, and he is powerful and he's big and strong, and he drives away with 50 to go. The Dutch national record is under threat here. You can see the marker on the track. He's just going to be behind it, I think. Japan is his 2nd, Botswana 3rd, but it's a win for the Netherlands by 6 or 7 meters. Brilliant running from them. 3:03.46. They're less than half a second outside their national record. They couldn't care less about that. They have won. They are the winners here in Poland. Fastest in the heats, fastest in the final, just as was the case for Cuba's ladies in their competition. Brilliantly judged too from the Dutch. Tony van Diepen there judged it to perfection. The South African Mavundla, I thought, went far too aggressively over the first half of his leg. You have to run. It's a very cerebral event, as you know all too well, Jenny Meadows, and I'm not sure that Mavundla got it exactly right. It's so hard, easy to criticise from up here in the commentary box. He gave his all, but the Netherlands judged that one absolutely brilliantly.
Yeah, Van Diepen is very experienced. You've just not got to let, you know, kind of adrenaline take over, which we probably saw there. But the Japanese squad, they were absolutely fantastic. And these are great scenes. The Dutch women have stayed around to congratulate the men. And, you know, a lot of these athletes now actually train with each other in Papendal. That's their national centre. They all train together. It happened a couple of years ago, just after Doha. Swiss coach came in, and they've all been encouraged to try and train together, which is obviously showcased for all these relays. The Dutch really believe that they can take over the world, hopefully, in some of these relay events, and they're all obviously helping each other and driving each other to new levels. And it's absolutely unbelievable, actually, that this Dutch men's 4x4 squad had not qualified for the Olympics before this weekend, and they've come away with the victory. So I think they were champions in waiting, really.
Well, Belgium, by the way, must have had problems. I didn't spot it, but they finished down in 8th place, several seconds behind France in 7th. But the celebrations for the Netherlands will go on. And their men achieving what their ladies, their women couldn't do. They finished in 4th place, the Dutch women's squad. Japan, a brilliant 2nd from them, 3:04.45, exactly 1 second behind the Netherlands. Botswana, close up behind the Japanese in 3rd place.
They're a very solid squad, aren't they, the Japanese squad? Aito, Kawabachi, Kato and Suzuki, and it was Sato on 3rd leg, wasn't it, that really came through towards the end and gives Suzuki a real fighting chance on that last leg.
Well, it went pretty much to form from yesterday. The Dutch were the quickest in the heats and they won. Japan was 2nd fastest in the heats and they finished in 2nd place here. Let's have a look at the first changeover in this men's 4x400, the final race of the weekend. South Africa there, heading out in the lead. Nene for South Africa, handing over to Digale. And this, the final changeover. The Netherlands taking over marginally in the lead, but he was not to be denied, Tony van Diepen. 44.9 yesterday, and of course in a very short time we'll bring you all those splits for each of the athletes in every team. But look at the gap he opened up, Van Diepen. Great running from him. They could be a real threat at global level, the Dutch, because they have defeated some strong squads there very comfortably, Jenny.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those, you know, things that everyone's been waiting for, to actually see the Dutch team come through. They won that European Indoor Championships just a couple of months ago. And, yeah, they're definitely a squad that are working hard together. They train together, as I say, and they're just pushing each other on to new levels, both on the men's and the women's side.
Do you know what? I envy relay athletes. I envy them, that camaraderie. You've had that feeling, Jenny. It's unique, isn't it? You know, the discus throwers, the hammer throwers, the long jumpers, the long distance guys don't get to experience that. No,
and we're looking now at Tony van Diepen, and, you know, he really saved something for that last 100 metres, and he was really on for that national record just to the end. We see him punch the line, and straight away his teammates just bounce on him, basically. And we can see the women as well. That's Lisanne de Wit. We can see Femke Bol being so pleased as well, and Clever. They're all really thrilled for all of them. So, yeah, much celebrations, I'm sure, this evening and on the plane home.
I wonder if they're celebrating because they all agreed to put the money into one big pot. Anyway, the Netherlands indeed are the winners. 3:03.45, as I said, exactly 1 second ahead of Japan. Botswana taking third place, making it onto the rostrum. Italy, 3:05.11, a good fourth place for them. And then South Africa having settled for fifth. Colombia, France and Belgium bringing up the rear. The Belgians clearly had problems.
Well, this is the other side of the sport, isn't it, that you don't always see. The 400 metres hurts. It really does hurt. And sometimes you just can't get off the track, no matter how much you want to. it might be cold down there, but see, Tim, I said this about using the flags as blankets. These are sensible, these athletes.
Thermal flags, that's what is needed in this sort of weather. That's a lovely shot. Botswana, who finished in third place. And Japan's athletes embracing Japan, of course, in second place. Smiles are always a little bit wider, aren't they, when you've made the rostrum? You know, there's always the satisfaction of having had a good run yourself and giving 101%. Well, the Polish national song and dance ensemble are back out for the post-relays celebrations. Slask is one of the most recognizable artistic ensembles in the world. Well, I'm told that the Belgians didn't have any specific problem in their changeovers. Just one or two below par legs, and they finished down in 8th place, which was quite a big surprise to themselves, I suspect, as well as many other followers of the sport. But they will be back, and undeniably what happens in Tokyo in 12 weeks' time is just a tad more significant, although this is a wonderful way to kick off the team versus team international summer. I say summer in inverted commas. Jenny. Well, let's go through the results of the various events we've seen. There's the mixed 4x400 metres relay results. Italy winning from Brazil and the Dominican Republic. Belgium fourth in that one, ahead of Great Britain. Italy winning pretty comfortably, almost a second their winning margin.
Well, this was the men's 4x100 metre relay. It seems a long time ago now. We've had so much action. South Africa taking the victory in 38.71 seconds. From Italy in second, 39.21. Japan in third, 39.42. And Denmark were the only other team to finish in fourth position, 39.56.
Yes, that men's 4x100 result really emphasising the difficulties of getting the baton round. 2 teams failing to finish, 2 disqualified, and 1 disqualification, 1 DNF in the women's equivalent. Italy winning from Poland and the Netherlands. The season's best for Italy, 43.79, with not much between Poland, Netherlands and Japan at all in 2nd, 3rd and 4th.
So the women's 4x200 metre relay, and it was a win for the hosts, Poland, in a national record 1:34.98. From Ireland, another national record 1:35.93. From Ecuador, season's best. Denmark, another national record. From Kenya, national record also, and the fastest split by the Kenyan athlete of all the teams on that final leg.
The men's 4x200 metres relay brought a victory very comfortably, in fact, for Germany. Bit of a surprise, that one. Kenya and Portugal 2nd and 3rd, with the Danes failing to finish, and the Poles, I'm afraid, the host nation, and they have been wonderful hosts, being disqualified in that particular discipline.
So the penultimate event was that women's 4x400 metre relay. Cuba taking the win on this occasion, and it was a historic win from Poland in 2nd place, Great Britain and Northern Ireland in 3rd place, the Netherlands, Italy, Germany, Belgium and France in 8th.
Well, what the Dutch women couldn't do, finishing in 4th there despite the fastest leg of all from Femke Bol on leg 3, 50.58. Their men could. They were the winners, and convincing winners, in the men's 4x400 metres relay, ahead of Japan and Botswana. So Europe, Asia and Africa represented there on the rostrum of the men's 4x400 metres relay. Well, and all the winning teams, winning athletes are coming out into the stadium very shortly, suitably clad, of course. I hope they've got layers on underneath those tracksuits. The wind is still blowing our papers around here on our desks high above the finish line. What a privileged position we've had through these 2 days in the Silesia Stadium, the Silesia Stadium. Poland, Germany, Italy, South Africa.
And this is a nice touch, isn't it? This is the Polish athletes who won the very first event of this championships, the hosts in the mixed 2x2x400 metres, József and Dobek.
Yes, the first final of the 2 days was yesterday. It was first final on Saturday of 2 finals. We've had 7 today. Germany taking the shuttle hurdles relay yesterday. Zapalska, Balnevite, Weigold and Traber winning by over a second from Poland and Kenya in that discipline. They've had a good weekend, have the Germans, as ever. For many decades, one of the great powerhouses of European athletics, indeed of global athletics. And they always have well-balanced squads too. Great jumpers, great throwers.
And this is the mixed 4x4. This is the victorious squad. This is the Italians, Scotti, Trevisan, Magnoe and Ray. And that was an exciting race.
It was indeed, yes, defeating Brazil and Dominican Republic for that win. The men's 4x100 metres won by South Africa from Italy and Japan. Denmark finishing in 4th place. Only 4 teams out of the 8 getting a result from that one. 2 disqualified, 2 failing to finish, but South Africa 38.71 were pretty comfortable winners. There they are. Glodlo, Leotlela, Munyai, and of course Akani Simbine, whose split time, by the way, on the final leg was 9.08. I know it's with a flying start, but that is still quick. Leila on the back straight on the second leg, running 9.16.
And this was the 4x100 meter women. Italy taking another victory here. Sagusa, Hooper, Bonginori and Fontana. And it's quite nice that they all get a medal, isn't it, Tim? We were wondering yesterday whether there was any medals for those people who won.
I think we were actually told there wouldn't be any medals, but there are medals for these athletes. It is not, formally speaking, a championship in literal terms, we are told. The 4x200 for women was won by Poland from Ireland and Ecuador. 134.98 for Poland. The quickest of their athletes was Adamek on the third leg, 23.34. And the history books will show this weekend as producing some times which look on the slow side, but these extremely cold, rare temperatures for an athletics meeting are a big part of the explanation for that.
So Germany were the victors in the men's 4x200 metres, led off by Muller, Straub, Ansa Pera, and Ansa, who ran so well, didn't he, on that last leg?
Didn't he just? Yes, Ansa, 19.96. They got quicker and quicker through each leg. Muller 21.4 out of the blocks, Straub 20.7, Ansa Pera 20.2, and then Ansa 19.96. And the women's 4x400 metres, well, it was, of course, Cuba who took the win. Echevarria, Almanza, Veta and Gomez. And again, the times got quicker and quicker from legs 1 to leg 4. Gomez rounding things off with that storming run down the home straight, running 50.96. Similar split to what she produced in the heats yesterday, winning from Poland and Great Britain.
And they've not even had time to get dressed. This is the Dutch squad, this is the Netherlands squad, still in party mode. Medals round the neck, mascots in their hand and their masks, of course, and still in the shorts. Dobber set them off well, didn't he? 45.95 on the first leg. Bonavesa, 45.85 on the second leg. Angela worked so hard to bring them back in contention and to give that baton over to Van Diepen on the last leg. 46.18 and Van Diepen 45.47.
Japan second in that men's 4x400. Botswana third, remember, with Italy just outside the rostrum positions. Belgium, the surprise package in that men's 4x4, finishing down in 8th place. I can tell you that Kevin Gourlay ran 49.5 for his leg. I hope that isn't explained by an injury or an injury of any significance. We'll obviously find out in coming days. But the celebrations for all of these athletes with a successful start to their Olympic summer just have that little bit more bounce to them, don't they? And so they should, despite the challenging temperatures. It projects them through May and June and then into the real meat of the summer, July and August and September as well. The Diamond League Series will be bouncing along through those summer months, and they can all be so happy with their weekend's work. Jenny, it's a confidence game, isn't it, sport, and athletics in particular, and each of those athletes we're seeing now as winners this weekend will be so boosted.
Yeah, that'll take them into next week's training and beyond. When you actually get something from a weekend like this, it'll definitely make you think, you know what, 12 weeks time in Tokyo, I want to be in the same position. And it's all about celebrating these victories. These athletes work incredibly hard, and I hope this has just been a real hope for all the athletes all around the world, even those athletes who's not took part here this weekend. Sport can go on if we take really good safety measures, and we've seen some great performances, so fingers crossed for the rest of the season.
Well, there are many sports that rumble along through the year on a regular basis. Football, of course, comes to mind as being a sport that lasts for, what, 9-10 months, maybe more even with the summer championships. And doesn't matter whether it's tennis or any one of many other sports. There are year-round sports, but track and field athletics is particularly demanding, because you can put many months of hard training into the bank, so to speak, without ever being seen. As Jenny has alluded to on a couple of occasions, the many months of hard work in the rain and the wind and the cold of the winter get rewarded when you come out in the summer. Now, this might not be very summery weather this weekend, but it is what happens over these next 10 or 12 weeks that is crucial for these athletes, and is their reward for the hundreds, the thousands of hours of hard work that they put in the closed season, so to speak. Many don't choose to operate the indoor season, so for many of these athletes, frankly, they haven't done much since September, Jenny, and you're going back, 8-9 months since they really stepped out and competed in anger.
And it's a long time, isn't it, for anyone just to keep going without any reward or any sort of benchmark. But I think we really have to, say a huge congratulations to everyone who's worked on this event. It would have been very easy to cancel it, but all the officials, the local organising committee, all the nations, all the medics. I mean, I've lost count of how many COVID tests I've had whilst I've been here, Tim, before we got here, every 48 hours, and obviously before we fly home again. So just a big hats off to everyone who's made sure this event has been very, very safe. People have come here, they've got Olympic qualifications, they've got benchmarks, and they'll be going home, like you say, Tim, with lots of things to work on.
Couldn't help spotting Sebastian Coe out there, World Athletics President as well, a man who has fought the hard yards since he took over as president of the IAAF, as it was then, back in 2015, to correct a few wrongs in the sport, and now he's focusing more upon issues that really do benefit all athletes. The competitive structure of the World Athletics year is what he's been very focused upon with his colleagues down in Monte Carlo for the last year or two, and is beginning to bear fruit, because I think there is a structure now that every layman, everybody who doesn't know the sport well, can understand. They can look at and see how it works, how it fits together, whereas before there was a real freelance, slightly nonchalant, not chaotic element to the way the athletics calendar sat, but it just didn't really fit together like a neat jigsaw. Now it does, and this is the first part of that jigsaw for this summer season, this Olympic summer.
Yeah, plenty to look forward to as well. The World Athletics Diamond League takes place pretty soon, and we've got the Continental Tour going on. We've got junior events going on later in the season. We're hoping to have that World Junior Championships in Nairobi in Kenya, and I know they're very, very excited about hosting that one. But just great images again of all of these athletes, and Joanna Josvik and Dobek have had to wait a long time, haven't they, Tim, to be out here and enjoy their celebrations. They were the first final of the whole of the weekend. That was yesterday, so they've been waiting around to make sure they come and get their victory celebration.
And there have been some great stories, haven't there, this weekend? The Irish have certainly stepped up and performed supremely on the big stage. So have the Cubans. The Dutch have had some very special moments. The established nations of European athletics have performed outstandingly. Italy started this day tremendously well. Thought they were going to be on the rostrum in the first three in every event, the way they kicked off day two. And the Poles, as ever, have been wonderful hosts, and what a busy hosting nation they have been. When you think they had the European Indoor Championships just a few weeks ago, they had the World Half Marathon Championships in Gdynia back in October, and it runs long. I think they've got the European Teams Championship in a few weeks' time as well.
They have, and it's in this stadium, and Polish are really taking their athletics seriously now, and gosh, don't we know it. Such a formidable athletics nation, the Polish nation now. Lots of cheers. And, Tim, we have talked about those established nations, of course, but Ecuador with that national record yesterday. We had the Danish men's 4x1 with that national record as well, and quite a lot of national records in some of the events that are quite new on the scene as well. And I'm sure those records will be getting broken in the next few editions of this World Relays.
Well, Poland have a very balanced, well-balanced squad too. Not only are they great on the track, but in the technical events, the throws and the jumps as well. Rather like the Germans, a huge, deep-seated tradition for top track and field athletics in the Polish nation and how they enjoy it. Well, a chance now to look at some of the very best action from this second and final day. With the mixed 4x400 meters relay kicked off the day, the Italians were quite supreme. And Davide Re taking over on the fourth leg after Scotti, Trevisan and Mangione had done the job, winning by 7 or 8 meters in 3:16.6 from Brazil and the Dominican Republic. And how they enjoyed that one. It set the stall to some degree, didn't it? The men's 4x100 meters was full of incident. South Africa eventually coming out on top. They stormed home there behind Brazil, but Brazil, unfortunately, were disqualified, along with Ghana, who had originally finished in third place. There it is, that foot on the line. When you're running around those bends, you cannot touch the line to your left. You cannot, and they did. The women's 4x100 meters, well, one might have expected the Dutch to be champions here, but it was Italy who held on to their lead after a poor final Dutch changeover, winning from host nation Poland. Fontana there, roaring home to victory for Italy, and the Dutch having to settle for third place. The 4x200 meters for women, well, it produced a very comfortable victory for Poland, winning by almost a second, although the Irish really threatened mid-race. As it turned out at the end, they were finished a few meters down, but did take second, beating some strong squads. Ecuador in third, Denmark and Kenya in fourth and fifth. The men's 4x200 meters producing victory for Germany, and what a convincing victory. Almost 2 seconds to the good was their squad of Muller, Straub, Ansa Pepra and Ansa. And Ansa on that final leg opening up that gap because he ran 19.96 in the worst possible conditions for the big sprinters. The women's 4x400 meters, well, many expected the Dutch to dominate here, but Cuba stuck to their guns. And despite Britain leading for much of the race through Nielsen, Pippi, Diamond and Knight, that British quartet having to settle for third place behind Poland in second, and the Cubans taking victory with Gomez on that final leg running superbly. Well, a split 50.96. And the men's 4x400 meters, well, they made up for perhaps some disappointment in the women's event because they took gold, or at least the win here, I should say, very comfortably did the Netherlands. Dobber, Bonavacia, Angela, and a fabulous storming last leg from Tony van Diepen, bringing them home in first place ahead of Japan and Botswana. Well, Jenny, normally at the end of a major weekend of international athletics like this, and indeed of all major championships usually, the athletes are renowned for celebrating a little bit, but they're not really allowed to, are they, this weekend?
No, we're not allowed to. Just the track and the hotel. That's what we've all been restricted to, of course. But we're not complaining, keeping in our bubbles, and it's just great that this event happened to go on.
Yes, let's hope that the bubbles that we've all had to put up with this weekend, and so many athletes have at other major championships in Torun, those European indoors not far from here, and in Gdynia, where things went so well on the coast of Poland back in October. Let's hope that those bubbles, the restrictions, get to be eased in coming months, and indeed that through to the Olympic Games in Tokyo, conditions for all these athletes, all fans and everybody out there, things do improve. We're very lucky in the UK where the vaccination program has gone incredibly well. Other nations a little bit behind. Some nations a long, long way behind. But Jenny, your final thoughts for the weekend?
Do you know, it's been such a great weekend, but it's probably those moments that you wouldn't expect. I loved the Irish's reactions to that, you know, mixed relay when they qualified for that, and it's fantastic that a lot of nations are just going home knowing they've got that Olympic qualification.
Well, the next event on the World Athletics Series program is the World Athletics Under-20 Championships in late August, 17th to 22nd August in Nairobi, Kenya. We hope you'll be able to join the team there. From Jenny Meadows, myself, Tim Hutchings, and all the production team here at the Silesia Stadium, thank you for being with us. We'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.
There is something that you do, and it isn't something obvious. There's an energy from you, like sunlight shining.